To those tuning in, we say hello. This is Hot Mike on the Line. Hot Mike is a show directed to support those in corrections, law enforcement, and first responders, and our families. Remember, all the hosts and guests may speak of certain subjects about their line. This show does not represent any department in any way.
It is solely our opinion.
Warning, this show contains explicit content that may not be suitable for the easily offended, the faint-hearted, the intolerant of bad words, the individuals who are looking to get upset, and the triggered.
I'm talking to you, Karen.
If you believe that you're about to listen to material that you may find objectionable, offensive, distasteful, or unpleasant, please tune out now.
Are you still listening?
Hot Mic is real talk, and we are
Live.
So kick off your boots, grab yourself a drink, and stand by.
Stand by. Through it.
Big shout out to the Bad Mothers. Thank you for that track.
Bad Mothers.
Thank you, LaRocky, for the edit
Mm-hmm.
out there in
Redline Studios.
Red Line Studios. Where are you?
All your recording dreams come true.
Hit him up on Instagram, Redline Studios. He also has a band. He plays I believe they're back. He's gonna have to.
Maybe that's the band you were thinking of earlier. That you said they were getting back together and possibly touring and going to Coachella.
Oh, probably.
Maybe that's.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that band. But if you're listening, Luis, let us know.
Yeah.
About your band status.
Here we go. So we're gonna be talking about dope, shanks, and phones. Contraband in prison settings.
AKA contraband.
How does it come in?
Contrabusy.
How do we find it? What do we do? What happens? What are the dangers? Right? We're on a statewide lockdown. That's no secret. And this is one of the reasons we decided to drop this show. But Danny, we do have some other matters, right? Do you want to talk about beforehand? Any shout outs? Any I have something.
Okay.
It's nothing big. So I was reading the newspaper today, and there was an article that just dropped from the local press here, the Imperial Valley Press.
Okay.
And I also saw it on so it was being shared in a couple social media
Circles.
platforms.
Okay.
That there was the U.S. Police Championships in San Diego recently, and there's a team that consists of officers from Calpata State Prison, Border Patrol, sheriffs. I think they got detention center. I think they have other ICE agents and certain more law enforcement and first responders. The 35 and over soccer team took gold.
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 That's first place where I come
Yeah,
from.
the Rebels FC, Los Rebels.
Excellent. And where was this magnificent accomplishment? Where did this take place?
This happened in San Diego, California, and it was a U.S. Police Championships. I participated there in the past. I've actually played with Rebels before, but that's a big accomplishment. It's not easy. There's always a dozen teams that play. So shout out to them. Also, shout out to the Ironwood soccer team.
Okay.
I believe they took first in the indoor. So shout out to them. And then there's also the Cal Bombers
The
softball
Cal
team.
Bombers.
Cal Bombers softball team. It's my understanding they took second. They came up short from the championship. Also in this tournament. So these tournaments are awesome. They're usually put up by retirees, and they've been going on for years. I've actually participated myself. I've been participating in these type of tournaments in the soccer area because of my dad since I was 18. So he would bring me on as a guest or an invite, and then later when I was a sorting officer, continued on. And so I know how hard it is to take the time off to pay your registrations, to pay the hotels, to buy a uniform or buy the uniforms. So shout out to everybody.
To
Good.
find the time to
Yeah.
practice as a team, coordinate with everybody, days off don't match, shifts
Yeah.
don't match. All right,
And
yeah,
as fun
thank
as
you.
it sounds, this is a good, you know, avenue to relieve some stress, right? Some work stressors. So good job to those men and ladies that also participate. So
Do you have anything else coming up for that group of men that play softball
uh
together?
yes, it was men's softball and soccer. I know that these teams will be competing in the upcoming Nevada Police and Fire Games in August.
Okay,
So we'll keep an eye on them. Hopefully they can send some pictures, some videos. Maybe if we can, maybe we can make an appearance and we'll take pictures, meet a couple of them, see what happens. I like going to those things. Hopefully, if I'm good to go by then, I don't think so, but if I'm good to go by then, maybe I get to participate. I don't know,
nice,
but if not, maybe I'll go as a cheerleader, take some pictures, video, do some interviews. Who knows? But yeah, so those of you that participate in the police and fire games, or the U.S. Police Championships, there's also the Worlds. There's also Guns and Hoses. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on and on. But it's a pretty big commitment. But that's one thing I wanted to bring on the
nice.
show.
My
Shout out to
hats,
those guys.
my hats off to those guys. Good job.
Ironwood Soccer Team, Los Rebels FC, Cal Bombers, which is now Osos Malosos. So
Osos
shout out to all those
Malos.
guys. Um, so yesterday we were talking about a certain technology. I had to write a letter, everybody, right? I was writing a letter, uh, and Danny's like, dude, why don't you try uh fucking something GPT?
Chat
Chat
GPT.
G I thought it was Chewy GPT, bro. I was like, Chewy GPT. That's what I should be using, Chewy GPT. I'm fucking dumb as fuck. But he decided to kind of show me what Chat GPT is about. And as soon as he started, he maybe read two sentences of it. I'm like, dude, stop right there. You gotta read this. I want to hear this in the blind during the show. So
So I don't have the prompt here available, but what's interesting about Ariel is that he's got some technological um
deficiencies,
no, so he's got some stuff he's good at. Like
limitations,
he loves doing TikTok and stuff like that. And like, doom scrolling and he's good for that stuff. Obviously he sets this whole thing up.
Pornhub.
But yeah, but I told him to do Chat GPT and he's like, nah bro, AI, no, that shit's scary. Nah, I don't know about that. So I'm like, dude, it could help you write all this stuff, right? And so I told him, look at how let me show you the power of Chat GPT. So I came up with a simple prompt. Um that I'm gonna ask Chat GPT. I'm gonna say, create a fictional planet ruled by the warlord Ariel Casillas.
So throwing names out there
Um,
now. Fuck.
it's a lush tropical planet
Hmm.
where all the inhabitants,
What are you doing, dude?
um,
Is that creating a story?
yeah, where all the inhabitants
Might as well write the whole story
have
yourself.
beards,
Oh,
including the women.
oh,
And so that's I'm just paying homage to your beard, your sweet beard
okay.
right now, which I don't know if you noticed or not, but I have a sick goatee right now.
Yeah, it needs like it looks like it needs some sort of medication. It's very sick. It's fucking- What a fucking gas mask on that thing or something, bro.
Where all the inhabitants have beards, including the women. This planet
Mhm.
is currently preparing for war
What the fuck?
with a
Hmm.
neighboring
Am I Team Iran or Team Israel? What's going on
planet.
right now?
Oh, nice tie-in to
Yeah,
the current events.
yeah, yeah.
This planet is currently preparing for war with a neighboring planet over
What
the
are we feeling?
resource
of semen.
Testosterone.
Oh, it tells me semen or something.
No, no, no. Again, this is
I was just thinking
we're
water. Yeah.
this is all based on you right now. Your
Okay. Okay.
beard,
Uh-huh.
cruel, overlord, warlord,
I'm a warlord.
beard, testosterone.
Okay.
All right, let's
I'm
see
gonna
what
tell
it
you
comes
one
up with.
thing. Someone's gonna get mad and they're gonna tell us that we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Why?
Never mind. Okay, so
Ooh.
is Chat GPT?
ChatGPT, boom, just like that.
That's
The
it.
name of the planet, Barbadia Prime.
Barbadia Prime.
Barbadia Prime is a lush tropical world located in the Trident sector of the Zorvax galaxy. Towering emerald rainforests, glowing jungles, and warm sapphire oceans dominate its surface. Let's move down to the
Uh-huh.
ruler, warlord warlord Ariel Casillas.
What the fuck?
Ariel is a feared and revered military genius, known for his braided obsidian beard that stretches to his knees. You got some ways to grow that.
I got what?
Um, you got some ways to you got a ways to go for that beard to grow down to your knees.
I know. I mean, I got the white hair. It's almost there.
Um, considered unmatched in wisdom and virility, he rose to power during the Great Hormone Wars.
I like that, dude. The hormone wars. We should
They-
call that. That should be the next softball tournament for work. Hormone wars.
So everything revolves around the beards since I put that on there, right? Everyone has beards. So
Yeah.
you command the council of the elite warriors known as the Follicle Vanguard.
I like that. Follicle
Yeah.
meaning hair, right?
Yes, yes. So
Uh-huh.
the Follicle Vanguard. And it goes on. I mean, this thing it gives you the conflict, the testosterone war and the neighboring
And that's
planet. Your military
uh,
is broken up into three categories. You have beard walkers,
okay.
special ops troops who weave their beards into exoskeletal armor,
Fuck, bro.
the hormonauts,
Hormonauts.
hormonauts, because the testosterone,
You
right?
know what hormonauts? You know what it reminds me of? Like two
The
ladies scissoring for
the
some reason.
the
It's like
aquanauts.
no, I don't
See,
know.
I kept it freaking in.
I just keep it
The
perverted.
hormonauts are biochemically enhanced space marines injected with liquid testosterone. And finally, your flagship troops, the Iron Follicle, shaped like a that's a flagship. Sorry, it's a flagship spaceship shaped like a floating bearded skull, armed with hormone siphoning cannons, so it sucks the hormones out of your enemies. Oh yeah, this goes on and on.
Oh, dude, that's pretty long. You put a story? It should have been like
That's all I
a.
put. Create a fictional planet ruled by the warlord Ariel. It's lush tropical
So
green.
this
Boom.
Chat GPT just fucking wrote a book or what is it?
It just wrote a brief synopsis of
That's brief.
yeah. So
Damn.
it gives you everything, and then you can start writing a story.
Nobody would. If I was to turn that in, if I went to school, like they'd be like, "There's no way."
No,
They,
they've already created tools to make sure you can't turn
oh,
in
dude, because
words like
before,
that.
so it's funny how they have the Chat GPT, right? But I remember plagiarism in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially like the senior project. They knew if you were fucking cheating or not just by typing in certain words and phrases on the internet, and they'd be like, "Hey, you got this from this encyclopedia, or you got this from this uh website or
Mm-hmm.
whatever." Your shit's it's an F.
Yeah, you would
You
yeah.
know, it was immediate plagiarism. That's like they had like zero grounds for it. But now it don't even matter, dude. I mean, fucking in California, aren't they gonna do away with the grading system anyways?
Yeah, they can still you can miss like 80% of the questions or
Yeah,
assignments or something and still get a they'll bump it up to an A or something like that.
yeah, yeah. Weak. All right, we're not
But
here for
yeah,
that.
there are tools that you can that they use to find out whether or not you're using AI
Mhm.
to
To combat
to
the
write your stuff. Yeah, because
mm,
obviously that's cheating.
no
But
shit.
man, for anything else, you can use it. Like if you want to write a strongly worded email to America's Tires because they messed up your truck or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you type that. You just type in there, write a strongly worded email to America's Tires
Mm-hmm.
because they put the wrong size tire on my truck. Boom, and then you can tweak it. You know, like
I am Ariel, commander of the hair
the
follicles.
follicle vanguard.
You messed up my tires for my
Prepare to die.
Tacoma.
Feel the wrath of my shaver.
All right, dude. Let's get on to the show. Dope, Shanks,
Shanks
and
and
phones.
phones. All right.
So, just like we mentioned right before we actually got into this whole tangent about the fucking Chat GPT, the state is on a lockdown. It's probably towards the tail end of it. Um, what that means is just been an increase of violence towards inmates and staff, and also just contraband being found. So the state has ordered all level four,
Threes and fours.
threes and fours to conduct searches. To to put it in lighter terms, to those that don't understand, it's pretty tedious. It's just a lot of work because staff, especially the officers, have to do a lot of work, a lot of laboring work. Usually, officers, we do more of a supervising work, right? A lot of that laboring work is conducted by inmates who are assigned to those jobs, whether it's a paying job or not paying job that they get. But during these lockdowns, well, they're not available. So who has to cook? Well, actually, there's certain inmates that are allowed to cook, but a lot of the cleaning, the trash picking up, and all that stuff, um, officers do, especially during these times as the searches. So,
And just to this is all public knowledge. This is a news release
mhm.
for those that don't know. On June 12th, 2025, um, CDCR placed all men's level 3 and 4 facilities on a modified program in response to a recent and concerning rise in violent incidents directed towards both staff and incarcerated individuals. This action also follows an increase in overdose cases and findings of contraband. So you can Google that, and it pops right up. So it's public. It's out there in the public, just
Yeah,
in case anybody wants to get crazy.
yeah. Oh, here they go again, fucking throwing out our business. What
So,
happened to transparency in this department? Anyway,
well, I think that there's an actual press release.
yeah, yeah,
Talking about that the other
yeah,
day, how there's a lot of these press releases that are
yeah.
coming out now. So, okay,
But for those of you listening, our angle, I know a lot of you guys have experience in this as far as discovering. Maybe you guys busted somebody. Um, our angle in this segment, it's mainly our experience, what we've observed, what we've witnessed, what we've done. Um, some of you guys were probably there with us, with me, with him,
me.
when some of these things have happened, with some of these incidents. And are we going to talk about staff? Maybe. Are we going to talk about visitors? Possibly. Are we going to talk about inmates? Yes. No names, though.
No, just
No
made up
names.
stories.
Made up stories. Wink, wink. All right. So,
So first off, I'll tell you, I'm gonna be honest right up front. So you've been talking about this show for a little while,
I've been wanting to do it for a minute.
and
Actually, years.
I've always told you the same thing. Like I've never. So I'm curious to see what you have. I've only seen stuff, observed stuff, heard stuff. I've never been one of those like hound dogs, so to speak, where I would find stuff and
Mhm.
like I think maybe like two weapons over the course of 27 years, maybe two weapons, a couple times drugs, phones. I mean, those started to come, during mass searches. But yeah, I was never.
Oh my
So
God, I need another guest.
I'm curious to hear your. I want to put a spotlight on you, as if you don't already want all the attention.
I don't.
Um, you know, with your beard braided down to your knees. I want to. Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm curious to what you have, man.
Um, it's funny because it's like honestly, there's just so many incidents. I don't want to say like, oh, I've been through so many incidents. I've seen so much, but I want to. start off like, kind of like little from from the obvious to the not so obvious, right?
Okay.
Um, one of the reasons I want to talk about this because yes, earlier you mentioned, oh yeah, you're always on social media, you check out TikToks, you check out that. What's interesting, not to get off topic too much. What's interesting, there was a lot of uh prison related platforms now, as far as there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of TikTok uh channels, Instagram, fucking Facebook, you name it, you got it. And who has these people? I mean, who has these platforms? Everybody does. From visitors to inmates to current and former staff members, outsiders. So anytime, like when this came out, that was the first thing that came up on my feed on TikTok, right? If you guys don't follow us on TikTok, check it out. I'm not big. I'm not good at posting stuff there, but whatever. Um, one of the first things that started coming out was that was the feed, and the feed that I was getting, it was from former prisoners and relatives of inmates.
Okay.
So it was interesting to see their reaction as far as the lockdown, and their reaction is always it's 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 the state's fault. It's the officer's fault, right? And what is the most common misconception that everybody has? Officer dirty. They're all dirty. And that's what it was. Officers are dirty. They're all dirty. I even heard the green wall this and green wall that. I'm like, God damn, I haven't heard it. I know. I was like, that's just the 90s right there. What the hell? You know? So it was interesting to read all this, and I'm like, damn, I'm like itching to like talk about the show because and I want to get in there and be like a fucking keyboard warrior and be like,
Yes.
no, it's not. It's you. I've seen it, or
Like,
yeah, or "Oh, I've seen it's other people, whatever. Or it's other means. It's not just staff. Because let's be real, yes, staff are involved in bringing shit in, but that's not the primary source, right? Um, so I mean, fuck, where do we start? How does it come in? I'm gonna drop it right now. It's like it comes in from everywhere,
yeah. Yeah.
everywhere,
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Yeah. You can. I
Yeah,
mean,
and uh,
staff, both
yeah,
custody and
mhm.
non-custody staff, visitors,
and
uh,
it's always
drops.
drops. Yeah.
Right.
So before, let's talk about a little bit before technology, before drones, when phones were just flip phones, before fucking iPhones and whatnot, when it was Nextel and all that, the LGs, those are like the hot phones that used to come in a lot, the little flip phone LGs and Motorola's. So a lot of those phones, how does that come in? Because that was one of the hottest things that would come in mostly, right? Was phones and dope. So the phones coming in, it's always people that are working more on a one-on-one basis with an inmate, where they develop some sort of relationship,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's green, whether it's non-custody. That's where it seems like it starts, right? And I've seen it, I've heard it, I've done interviews, and it all starts with a very simple relationship. And I'm not talking about sexual or nothing like that. A very simple, friendly relationship where it's like, hey, good morning, like you have your porter, right? Or you have you work you're non-custody and you have a cleaning crew, but you have this one guy who's always like, hey sir, how you doing today, sir? That guy that's always like trying to make sure that you notice him, that he's the guy, that he's trustworthy, right? That's always coming in and telling you, hey, today it's gonna go down. Giving you information, feeding you certain things, giving you
Giving you
bones here
little,
and there, little bones,
tidbits. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
little crumbs, right? And then until eventually we're human, right? Some start speaking, start dropping certain information about personal information about your family, friends, coworkers. And now they start revolving off of that. And then they start seeing certain because these inmates are manipulators, they're people reader, they can figure things out. They start seeing things like, oh, this guy might be in a financial crisis, right? Because a lot of us, we like to have fun. We like to have our toys. We like to have our jet skis, our fucking quads, our razors, our trailers, our boats, our fucking this, our that. Take our family there, take our wife shopping, our girlfriend shop,
Comfortable.
right? All that. So it adds up. So what happens, especially during the time of furloughs,
Yeah,
what happens?
yeah. You get compromised.
Yeah, you
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 get compromised by by allowing those the classic over familiar
yeah,
conversation
yeah.
that allows this guy to see, hey man, I think this guy might be hurting for cash. I think maybe I can throw a line out there,
Hmm.
throw that hook out there, and see if he bites.
And usually it's not always straight to the point. It's not always straight to the big the big bite, right? It's not gonna be bring me some dope or I need some phones. It's always something simple, as stupid as it sounds. And a lot of those that went to the academy, this is what kind of pisses me off. Um, that they're in training, we don't really talk about it any too much anymore, or at least I haven't heard it in the last couple of years. Inmate staff relations. I used to teach inmate staff relations. And inmate staff relations, I kind of turned it more into of a like a scare straight program, I guess. More of a, hey, don't be dirty. Everybody's watching. We know. Everybody knows. Working in ISU, if you're dirty, I guarantee you they know. It's just that they're waiting to catch you, right? Whether you're wearing green or you're wearing fucking the nurse's outfit or you're wearing brown for the cooks or you're wearing regular clothes, they know. They fucking know. You think they don't know. You think you're slick, but they know. They're just waiting for the right moment because there's a lot of hoops that they have to go through, right? But
Speaking of hooping, no, we're not gonna jump in. We're not jumping ahead yet.
yeah, so the first thing that they do is, hey, let me get that newspaper. Something simple as that.
Hmm.
Hey, when you're done with that, let me get that newspaper. That's harmless, right? Who who fucking reads
Yeah,
a newspaper now?
and throw it away
Yeah, I
anyways.
was gonna throw it away. Too. Here you go. Boom. And these people, they work you. It's not gonna take 2 days, 3 days. This shit could take weeks, months. Hey, hey, Pika, I see that you're kind of like letting off on your food. If you're not done with that burrito, let me have the rest of it.
That would never happen.
I'm just saying.
Very unrealistic scenario.
Uh,
I would never have anything left over.
oh, I'm just saying. Went back in your healthy days.
If anything, I would be
Back in your healthy days.
we have left from your state lunch.
Let me get the extra state lunch.
You got those corn nuts that they put in there? I like those corn nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I get you. Yeah, so
yeah,
starts like that, right?
yeah,
A little,
yeah.
well, and
And
then like you said,
I want to go off one of these comments because this is big. So when an inmate finds out your name, whether you're custody, non-custody, and if they already have a phone or if they don't have a phone, right, they're gonna find you on social media, right, and they're gonna get more information to see where you're about to have a better read. Oh, you like to party in Mex, huh? Cool. Oh, I see you like to get wild in Mex.
yeah,
Cool.
especially if you don't have your
Yeah.
shit private,
Yeah.
or if you don't realize what all is out there.
Yeah. So.
But what I've noticed is I've noticed a very strategic move by a lot of staff
Mhm.
to conceal their identity, which I don't know. I mean,
Does it work?
I don't know
Probably
why
not.
I don't know how they thought of this, but what I've noticed, I might be giving up the house here, but I've noticed that a lot of people will put their name, but they'll put it backwards.
Oh yeah.
So
Hmm.
there's that,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, which it's a lot like you know, wearing a cover shirt and you still have your green pants.
yeah.
So
With your yellow pipes?
yeah,
Okay.
but you get out to pump gas,
Yeah, yeah,
no one will ever know that you're a CO
yeah. Mm.
as long as you wear it like that.
And your top is
So
hanging on the seat,
yeah.
on the passenger
So
seat.
I mean, so there's ways to there's ways to get around
Yeah.
to be secure.
So going back to how to how you become a duck, as they say, right? Don't be a Felix.
Quack quack.
There's there's a
Don't be
lot
a
of terms.
Felix.
Don't be a
That's
Felix,
that's
right?
old school. Go too.
Or a duck. How do they get a duck? So let's say you agree. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
I mean,
But
I
what
was
I'm
gonna
gonna
throw it away
yeah, the
anyways. Yeah,
burrito. Yeah, here you go. Cool. So that keeps going. And then one day it's like, hey, hey Danny, we've been talking for a minute. Um, I understand, it seems like you're always stressed out from your wife and your kids. And right, it must suck what they're going through this time right now with furloughs in California and this governor right now, right, fucking gas is about to go back up in July 1st. And I can see your financial strain and stress.
see you're doing overtime. I seen you in the
Yeah.
block the other day doing
You're
overtime,
bro,
doing
you're
a
double
double.
digits. What are you
Yeah,
doing? You're double digits, man. You got seniority. I done been seeing you for a long time. Like, you're not like that. What's up with that, man? Why don't you I know a way how you can have some relief from that. You don't have to tell me nothing right now, but if you ever want to talk about it, let me know. Right? And now that shit is planted in your head.
the seed is planted.
The seed is planted, sir. So eventually what happens? Hey, all I need, man, is Hmm. Yep. Usually it's a staff member. Hey man, what can I do? All I want is to rent a portion of your lunch pail. Let me rent half of that. What do you mean rent?
What are you talking about?
So what I want is you're gonna get a package. You can't open that package, but it's gonna be about as big as half of your lunch pail. How big is that? That's gonna be about 5 inches by 4 inches. That package is gonna be about that big. And you can't open it or nothing, or the deal's off. All you gotta do is get the package, put it in your lunch pail, cover it. That's your job. Bring it in, give it to me. I'll take care of it, and you'll have money. We'll figure out a way to get your money. You could pick up the money directly. You could do the money exchange when I give you the package, but you don't have to see what's in there. What happens? Fuck. That seems pretty easy.
I don't. I won't have to work overtime anymore.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you 1,500 a drop.
It's like two overtime.
Easy. And let's do that once a week. Easy. No, you know what? Let's not stress you out too much. Let's do that once every 2 weeks. Let's do that. Right. And that's how it builds up. And I'm telling you, this is straight up one of a couple of true stories. Right. This is how it starts. This is a way of how they get that staff member. This is a way. So what happens? Those people, they blindly go get a package. They do the money exchange. They they don't even open it. They're scared. Put it in their fucking lunch pail. Bring it in. How do they bring it in? They usually wait when there's a cluster of staff members coming into staff entrance, right? You got your lokes on, you're trying to, you're looking cool,
Nonchalant.
looking like, just working a double. You're just the same OG that you've always been working for 18, 20, 21 years, 2 years, 3 years, don't matter. And you just walk right in, right? Just walk right in. So that's a way. The most common way, visiting. The most common way is visiting. I can go on and on and on about visiting stories, but I do want to share one. There's a lot of visiting stories. Everybody who's ever worked visiting has a bust. Have seen a bust. Have seen it all. Heard it all. Um, but I remember working in investigations, and we get a call. And shout out to the visiting staff. Visiting staff do not get enough credit. They don't get enough credit because sometimes I feel like they're seen as, how can I say, like, chum for third watch overtime. Do you know? I don't
Yeah,
know if that makes
yeah,
any sense. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, oh well, they made all these out calls, and fuck it, we'll get visiting
Get
if
the visiting cops.
yeah, we'll get the visiting cops.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of fucked up because visiting is a busy job.
yeah.
and it's a stressful job, right? It's on. I fucking personally, I hate visiting because you got to deal with the public and you got to deal with the inmates and you got to deal with the staff, and you have to put three different faces, right? Not that I hate dealing with staff, it's just that I hate dealing with the other end of it, right? I just that's not my cup of tea. It's difficult for me to be, oh, hey, how you doing, man? Blah, 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 blah." And then it's like, hey, what's up, dude? Fucking cuff up, blah blah blah. And then it's like, hey, staff members, I need you guys to work, blah blah blah. It's like a fucking person with multi personality disorder, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of that. I don't, but I absolutely respect the visiting staff. Um,
I never thought of that like that. That's a good way of putting it. And then imagine if you mixed in your if you mixed up your personalities,
yeah, yeah.
and you start talking to the inmate the way you talk to his family. Hey, how's it going? All right, you have a good visit. Inmate looking at you all crazy.
Oh, what the fuck just happened?
What you talking about, man?
Yeah, but they always find buzz. So I get a phone call one time like, "Hey, I think we have something. Can you check the cameras?" Cool. We go in the cameras, backtrack it, check it out. Sure enough, we see a guy. He's acting a little funny. Him and his visitor. By a little funny, they usually do the whole. There's the cameras right there. They do the prairie dog, right? Because everybody's head's level. It could be a packed visitor room. Everybody's head's like this. People's like blah 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 this and that. But then you see that dude and his nose right here, right? That you see that dude right next that his nose right next to him. That dude's just like staring at the fucking chips or staring at something, staring at the chocolates, whatever's in front of him, the corn nuts,
He's
whatever it
trying
is.
so hard to be unnoticeable that
That he's
it
noticed.
becomes like,
Yeah,
look at me.
yeah, super noticed. So that's what happened with this dude. This dude's like doing the whole. And as soon as I saw it, like, oh, it's gonna go down. I think they're right. I think visiting staff's gonna be right. Which a lot of times they were, right? Next thing you see is he grabbed whatever it was, and then the next motion was
Oh,
and the hand disappeared, right? You as a trained officer, supervisor, whatever, you immediately think, oh, he just hooped something.
right.
He just put something up his ass, right? So now you got to backtrack on the video and all that, try to find out where it's at, and you eventually you find the exchange, and you need to do that so you can also book the person visiting. A lot of times they also hoop it, especially the ladies because they have more cavities than men, right? So it's almost always right after a restroom visit. That's why the visiting cops they do the search before and after,
Check
right?
the restroom
Yeah,
before, right?
before and after. Um, which is a difficult job because if you have a male staff member and then a female staff member comes out, it can be sometimes a little bit intrusive. It can feel intrusive. You know what I mean? And that's why it's a little difficult for some of these guys to be like, all right, ma'am, whatever. Hey, I think something's going on here. So they'll usually when they feel like something's not right, they'll make a notice. Anyways, in this particular case, we take this guy out to the back and we talk to him, and the guy's like, nope, 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 I don't have nothing. I'm like, hey, dude, yeah, we saw you on video. Um, I feel like you have something up your butt. We're gonna treat you as contraband surveillance. We're gonna make all the phone calls, yada yada, whatever. I had to go through the whole thing. Um, Next thing is I tell one of the visiting cops, hey, keep an eye on him. We're gonna make some phone calls. We need to review the camera a little bit more, and then we'll be right back. Keep an eye on him. He's in the isolated area in the back, right? So what happens is we come back, it's for sure. I think that's when we finally saw like, okay, yeah, he did put something up his butt, right? So we go back, this guy's cuffed up. This visiting cop, uh, maybe not experienced, maybe thought that it was bullshit. He's distracted talking to somebody else in the visiting, not keeping an eye on this inmate, right? And I'm like, and if Danny, you've seen me before, people that know me, when I get mad, I explode, right?
No.
So my immediate reaction was like, dude, what the fuck? As I'm walking, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, oh no, he's just chilling. I go, nah, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck did I just tell you, right? Move. And I look over and they make, yeah, he is just chilling with his hands behind his back, sitting on that little bench. And I fucking start looking around. What do I see? Shit all over the wall. Shit all over the wall. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Fecal matter.
Yeah. So I tell the officer, come here, dude. Check that out. What is that? Was that there before? He's all like, oh no. Now it's like that ghost, it just hit him like, oh damn, I fucked up. Right. Fucking I go, dude, check this out. Go get some water, get some paper towels, go call my partner. Fucking I got this. He takes off, comes back. Now I have my partner. So we fucking get this guy out. That dude has shit all over his underwear. He was just in his underwear. He's got shit all over his underwear, shit all over his hands. The cuffs have shit. The walls have shit. The fucking the bench where he was sitting has shit. I'm like, dude, this fool. When I'm looking at this dude, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? And he's Mexican guy. He's all like, oh, pues nada, nothing. I'm like, all right. I go, hey, check this out, dude. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to get you cleaned up, right? So we do a search inside, negative, nothing, nothing's inside. We and the next thing I do, this is one of the most just some disgusting things that I've done, and on the job, this is probably one of the most disgusting ones. It's probably like top five. I tell the dude, yeah, hey, I'm gonna have to take off your underwear, bro. I'm gonna have to take off your fucking underwear. Like you can't do it because I'm afraid that he's gonna get whatever he has and swallow it. Like I don't want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that,
yeah.
fucking because
You
that's
don't know
happened
what's you
before.
don't know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Mm.
tell this dude, I'm gonna take off your underwear. Bro. He's all right. So there I am, bro. I fucking get on one knee. I get him into like a clean area. Oh, actually, we put a sheet, and he stood on the sheet, and I'm like, fucking get on one knee, bro, and I fucking straight start like taking his underwear off, seduction style, little by little, bro. Fuck you, Daddy.
It stinks down here.
Bro, it was gross, dude. I had a, I don't remember if I had a mask. I don't think I had a mask
Oh,
because sometimes you get to the point where you're like, nothing
man,
really
it's just
bothers you. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Yeah,
just thinking about it. I'm getting grossed out.
yeah.
Think about it.
So I do the deed. I take off his fucking underwear. And the reason my reasoning behind that was, what if it's in his underwear? It was too much fucking shit, right? So I take that off, and then I'm like, all right, dude, check this out. I'm gonna uncuff you now. There was no contraband or nothing. Like, hey, dude, I'm gonna uncuff you now. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to clean yourself. So we have like some warm water, like a couple of little pails of warm water, disinfect, all kinds of shit, whatever. He cleaned himself. Um, Fast forward, he's in potty watch, two big old churros, bro. He had two big ass churros. So, and I can tell the story now because he got guilty. He went to court, found
It's
guilty,
been adjudicated.
adjudicated, sir. Yeah.
Explain churro for our friends to the north.
It is a bindle. It is a large bindle about the size of a 6-inch dildo. Um,
Said like shaped like a churro.
I told you I was gonna keep the show perverted, but yeah, so that's a way. And there's a lot of visiting stories that I can give you. I just want to give you one that kind of
One that's gonna stick with me for the
paints
rest of my
the
life.
walls.
It's
You know?
you painted a very vivid picture, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Much like he painted the cell wall.
But Danny, Shanks.
Shanks. What about the Shanks? So we know. So we're closing the chapter on dope for now. Is
I mean, don't.
until our next
Yeah.
part two show because we could go on
Oh
about
yeah,
this
we can go on
forever.
about the drones,
So
how drones were
yeah,
dropped, and there was a ring of people that were fucking dropping shit with drones. It was these little, college kids going around. They're getting paid handsomely. They're getting paid. We can go on. We could talk about that some other time. Go more in detail with it. Maybe I can bring somebody in who dropped a comment about, and we'll talk about that. Because I think drones should be a little episode on its own. But let's talk about Shank. Again, dope, dope. One of the classic ones was way back when minimum yards or the level one yards was GP and not NDPF, the non-designated yard. One of the classic ones was people from the streets uh, would go somewhere through the outer perimeter and drop basketballs full of phones, full of dope, and yeah, when shit's brought in, it's almost always dope and phones. What type of dope? Uh, you name it, they got it. Coke, not so much. That's usually the white boys, but yeah, fucking you name it, they got it. Fentanyl. Oh my god,
Yeah, that's a big
fucking
one.
Google that shit. It's all over the news of how many people have died over fentanyl overdoses. We got some stories about Shanks. We'll talk a little bit about Shanks.
The old shanks, how do
Yeah.
they get in? Well, actually, they don't come in from the streets unless people bring in their pocket knives and
Hmm.
then drop them on the yard and then don't tell anybody, and then we find them years later.
Yeah.
That actually happened before. An officer brought in a hunting knife,
Okay.
a buck knife for my outdoors people.
Hmm.
This guy brought in a buck knife, a folding buck knife. It was a nice, your classic buck knife, and he lost it.
Yeah.
And then
Also like bringing his own hats. I heard.
we luckily we found it before it was fucking buried in somebody's neck. Um, but yeah, Shanks. Well, I mean, my only real Shanks story is I was telling you about it earlier. I've never really found anything like that. I was never a real like a
Never got lucky.
yeah. I was maybe I didn't try too hard.
Yeah.
You know, some people just have a nose for it,
Yeah.
right? Like one of the guys that's commenting here. This guy, one of the guys that's commenting, the employee of the month. That guy could spot a guy with a weapon or drugs on him across the yard. Um, like it was ridiculous. But anyways, I digress. But the classic the classic pass off the fine to somebody else. We're searching an area of the yard, and this guy had given up some information, and he's talking about, go check this area, and it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like the grass. That should tell you how long ago it was. There
Yeah.
was grass on the yard, and he's gonna be sticking up about this much, and I'm ready to give up at this point, and I'm standing there looking around, and then I spot a little bit of green that doesn't look like all the other grass. So then I tell my partner, "Hey, what's that?" And I point at it, and she looks down and she's like, "Oh, it's a piece of tape." And it's like green, like painter's tape.
Yeah.
And she grabs it and she starts pulling it up, and as she's pulling it up out of the dirt, her eyes are getting all big, and she's pulling it. It was a shank, oh, good 6-inch piece,
Yeah.
and it had green tape around the end of it, and that's how they would spot it. And she pulled it out right there, and it was some random piece of metal. These guys will, you know, for anyone watching the show wondering about where they get it from everywhere. They
Yeah.
can turn, they can
Anything.
they can cut through metal. They can turn anything that with a little bit of metal, a 3-ring binder. They can figure out a way to do that. A piece of the chain link fence. We've seen that before.
The desk.
The desk in the cell makes some
Not say plastic.
hardcore hardcore weapons I've seen made out of a desk.
Yeah.
Um, any plastic they want to melt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my one claim to fame.
So
Was passed it off.
I want to touch on like because there's a lot of videos circulating as far as inmates being uh, attacked by other inmates by you being used by inmate manufactured weapons, right?
Mhm.
Shanks, and that's the importance of it. Like why they shouldn't be in prison as far as the Shanks, and why it's important to get them. Um, People of the general public and those that don't understand our job, our line, they have to understand that these dudes, they take great lengths to number one, figure out how they're going to make this shank. So they plan it. Number two, make it like with finding a piece, finding some sort of metal, some sort of uh whatever they're going to do. some sort of tool that they can use in order to cut it. And they use whatever nail clippers, they'll use string, they'll use to make these tools. They'll sharpen the floor. So what are we supposed to do? Not let them have nail clippers anymore? Not let them have any threading string anymore? Not let them have any floor anymore? Like these dudes have ingenious ways to create these weapons. Um, so when you see these videos, like some of the comments are like, "Oh, look, the SEALs, they let them have it," or "Look, the SEALs, they called the hit," or "Oh, look at the SEALs, they're all just standing there."
Yeah.
But looking at these videos, I'm like, of course they're gonna stand there. They're, these fools got fucking swords, and now we guys pepper spray. You know what I mean? And these fools are doused in pepper spray, and a lot of times the gunner's doing this holler. He's doing his job. He's utilizing force from up above if they have a shot, right? So so people can get a picture of these weapons. And side note, if you're a lieutenant, I hope we're getting everybody for attempted murder. If a guy uses a weapon, I hope you guys are trying to book him for attempted murder because by law they have to have the time, the oh my god, it's not on the top of my head, but there has to be
You thinking
a
about ITT?
no.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not ITT, not injury time and tactics, but they have to have the means to do it, like the actual, uh, uh, like intent
Okay.
to kill somebody. Now, like I just mentioned, if that inmate took the time to get tools, create a weapon, sharpen the weapon, make a tip, sharpen the tip, secure a handle, hide the weapon because they get searched all the time, and then find a moment to stab somebody, that is intent all the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I get mad. Like, oh, battery, battery. Fuck that, dude. Let somebody else drop that shit. Like, that's my opinion, though. Again, it's my opinion. Everybody, murder or attempted murder, my opinion. Um, but I do have a shank story as far as finding a shank story.
Oh, one time a guy pulled a shank out of his butt, threw it at us.
Oh shit.
So that's a
Was there any poop?
combination, combination butt story and shank story right there. That was when I first started, within my first couple years, and I remember the squad guys came in and they had this guy and they put him in the shower, and I remember thinking, oh, cool, squad guys, like these guys are cool,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and this is so far back they didn't even have black patches then.
Oh, it's yellow.
Legit squad,
Yeah.
right? They all they had was a little special security
Everybody's
squad right
legit,
there.
dude.
You know what I mean? And so, um, yeah, this is pre-subdued patch,
Uh,
uh,
squad.
bozos, bozo squad. No, because we were, subdued patches. That was a joke. I don't really think you're bozos, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want nobody to get their feelings hurt. Anyways, see the squad there, and I
Mhm.
see them talking to this guy, and I'm like watching, I'm like watching, and I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer, so I can hear how he's. Let me hear how this guy's talking to this inmate, and the guy, all of a sudden he just ducks down. You know how we ask him to cough, like
Yeah.
squat and cough or whatever.
Yeah.
He squats down, and I don't know what the hell's going on, right? I just see him do that, and he's reaching back, and he when he stands up, he goes, here, bitch, or something like that, and he throws it through the bars, and it hits the officer in the chest.
Oh shit, that's assault.
It hits the officer in the chest, and I'm like,
Mhm.
what is that? What is, did he throw poop at him? And no, but no, it was a little shank that he had up his butt,
Damn.
and it hit the ground, and they told him, they yelled at him, turn around, cuff
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and then I was like, but yeah, that was one story I was gonna say. That was, ooh, I was an officer then. It was years ago.
Hey, fun fact. Now, right now that we're in that topic, I was working transportation uh years ago, and we had to take these guys to colonoscopy. So there's this youngster that had to get a colonoscopy, right? And this guy, the reason for it, he was bleeding from his butt. And I started talking to the guy like, "Dude, you're too young." Like, I was thinking drinking. It had to be. It had to been like years of abuse of drinking or Pruno or something. And the guy's like, "No, man. The thing is that I think some shanks they cut me in there." I'm like, "Shanks?" He goes, "Yeah, dude. I usually carry." Like, what? He goes, "Yeah, dude. I usually carry for the homies. Like, I have to carry. I have to." And that's how it is with certain factions of gangs in the prison. Someone has weapons. Some in whatever race it is, there's certain individuals that are tasked to always hold a weapon. Doesn't mean that they're the ones that are going to use it. They're just the ones that are going to hold it. So now I got curious, dude. I'm like, hey, dude, well, uh, how do you like? Why would you put that up there? But I have no choice. That was his option. Excuse me, his response. I have no choice. I'm like, so what, you just put a shank in there? He goes, nah, man. You have to train yourself for it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and at that time I'm training for boxing. I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, you gotta train yourself for it. Like, what do you do? Like, go run a lap and cough the whole time? Like, what do you do? Like, how do you fucking train yourself to stuff shit up your ass, right? How do you train your hoop, your uh,
Prison wallet.
prison wallet, your cajuela, right? Whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. And he's like, well, when I was younger, juvenile hall or something like that, that he started off with a bottle uh, cap of a shampoo bottle.
I was gonna say a bottle cap. That's
Excuse
got
me.
some pointy edges on it.
No,
That's
it was a shampoo, the tip of a shampoo bottle. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, man. He just kind of throw it in there. And now that I'm thinking about it, so I'm like, so this motherfucker had a butt plug for a minute, right? And I guess from there, as I guess after some training, he just kept putting things bigger, bigger, and bigger and bigger until he was able to hold. This is his words: two phones and a weapon. And I think this is like the beginning of the iPhones. So it ain't the big iPhones now, right? So
yeah.
you're talking about like maybe like a 4x3 or something, right? I'm like, dude, that's three fingers and some change. I like, what the fuck? It's crazy, dude. And that's interesting to me, like, because right now we're talking about prison wallets and phones and dudes, because people are like, oh, how would you just put shit up your butt? Practice makes perfect, ladies and gentlemen. You could do it too. Just gotta practice. Start off with a little butt plug. Now I think they make it easier. They got butt plugs on sale on Amazon, and I don't know.
Wait, like what are you talking about? Like they can buy them, or what are you talking about? Like us training?
Yeah, if you want to train your prison
What is
wallet,
wrong with you?
I don't know, dude. Who knows? Like, you can have like extra money if you're gonna go travel to Mexico. You got some money in
You'll
there.
never find it here.
Yeah, I mean, I carried a rack. I don't know, dude. Anyways,
No,
yeah,
but you were talking about the phones. I had somebody
yeah,
that told me earlier today because I was like I said, I don't have a lot of cool stories about contraband, so
mhm,
I asked a couple of my buddies, and he was telling me how they and it's funny because it's weird to most people,
mhm,
but for us, it's
no,
pretty normal,
yeah,
which is that's weird
yeah,
in itself. So he's like, yeah, I mean, it took them all of 30 seconds to start giving me responses,
yeah,
and he's like, yeah, you remember the old this guy, one guy had a Motorola Sidekick. Remember the Sidekick?
yeah. That
So
shit would flip up.
it would flip, right? So
Yeah,
he said he had the Motorola Sidekick up there. Not only that, but he said that when they finally went to get him to give up whatever he had, he said that the charger came out first and then the phone.
damn,
So,
fully charged, fully charged,
so
brother.
he had the whole
Yeah,
shebang there.
damn.
Um,
You probably had like a little
yeah,
toolkit in there to fix it just in case.
it was a one-stop shop.
Yeah. I did want to talk about finding weapons. Weapons is just too many. I've been fortunate, unfortunate, or whatever, to find weapons, yards, cells, dining, uh, pat downs, all that stuff. Oh, dude, shout out to those that still continue to do the academy style pat downs, right? With the swipe, um, because that's where they have the shit.
Yeah, it'll hang right. They'll hang it right there.
That's where they still have the shit. There's an officer in a certain institution that kept getting PREA
Allegations.
allegations because these inmates wanted the state to tell this guy to stop doing that. But he was doing his job and he was finding shit. He was finding. shit all the time. But anyways, one of the most interesting finds, it came off a note. Uh, we receive a kite, right? Inmate manufacturer note, and it said, "Hey, this cell and C5 and this cell it has weapons." So I'm like, "Hey, gather the troops. Hey, let's go. We go hit it." Two officers they search. We get the inmates out. The inmates are in there. We get the inmates out, put them in the shower. The officers hit it. They search. One of the officers like, "Yeah, hey, Sarge, we didn't find shit, dude. No, no." And usually when that happens, you think it's a bullshit kite. They're trying to get these guys out of there, right? They're trying to get these guys to roll up. So I'm like, all right, well, let's take them back. Let's take them back into the cell. Cool. So they cuffed them up. The Saudi starts going in. I'm gonna help. Now I'm helping with the escort. The next guy, he's in the shower, all the way back to the shower, and I go, all right, man, come on, let's go. And he's looking at me. He's like this. They're under the desk. I'm like, what? They're under the desk.
He's all the way in the back trying to.
All the way in the back, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you say, dude? And he just kind of like shrugged, right? And I'm like, oh, hey, bring that food back. Hey, bring the other guy back, right? So they bring him back, and I'm like, hey, Officer so and so, what's up? Are you sure you fucking search? Yeah. Come here. Let's check under the desk. Three weapons, bro.
Damn.
They were in a little U Salem, three of them. It was in a U Salem taped up. I'm like, come on, bro. He's like, oh, dude, fuck, dude. Now, he obviously felt dumb. Whether he was inexperienced, tired, lazy, you could fucking say whatever. Um, I was, I've always been the type of like to try to make it like a training moment. You know what I mean? Because I fucked up too. Who hasn't, right? In
Right.
work. But I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what the fuck? We'll talk later. All right. That was one of my interesting finds. So that guy who never PC'd up, by the way, told me that they were supposed to hit somebody either that day or the day after. And he's like, I'm too close to the house, man. I got I'm like, hey, well, you telling me this information. What's up? Nah, I'm good. All right. Hey, RSU. This is what I got from this guy. You guys can go talk to him. And I don't even know if he ended up piecing up or not, but he did go to ASU at the time, right? So administrative segregation. But that's one of my interesting finds where because it ain't the first time that I get information from inmates because some of those guys they're trying to do their time. A lot of those guys are trying to do their time. Right, a lot of them are trying to do their time. So a lot of them don't want weapons on the yard. Right, there's actually a certain race that don't like weapons on the yard. So it's whenever they find something out or whenever they find someone's gonna get hit, it's a simple like, hey, they're gonna get somebody today. So yeah, we get in. We don't know who, like who they're gonna get. Oh, can't give you that. I'm just telling you. We can't just fucking tell. We tried it before. Hey, Captain, we heard they're gonna hit somebody today. Oh, they shut the yard down. No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen that way. It's a let's search as they come out. So yeah, now we're on high alert, searching, searching, searching. Now we're like fucking little prairie dogs looking at the damn yard, and what do you know? Boom, they hit somebody that day. So it's always a hit and miss when you get that information because those weapons are probably already on the yard, probably coming out of somewhere like dining or somewhere where there's a lot of traffic where they can hide shit in their personal belongings. But that's part of the Shanks
Yeah.
stories, right? And there's hundreds of fucking Shanks
I
stories
got
that
a good
people can
I got
tell.
a good shank one, but I'm gonna touch on phones because I feel like we haven't talked about phones as much. But
Uh-huh.
I got a couple my soapbox moment about phones. But I remember there was a time when finding a phone was like wow,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
and now it's like finding fucking extra toilet paper
Uh-huh.
in the cell, which is it's a shame because for anybody who thinks he just wants his phone to call little Johnny or to call his mom or to call his girlfriend or whatever, right? So I think about our old classic escape prevention class, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there was a thing there was a thing that said there was a slide that said um, indicators that this guy might be planning an escape. Do you remember what any of those things might be? It listed like 12 things. what's some of the classic things that
Giving stuff away.
no,
Fucking.
that's suicide phone.
Whatever.
Uh, like showing a sudden interest in the surrounding area.
Change of appearance.
Change of appearance, right?
Hmm.
That there was that one. Um, there was things that they might say in mail or phone calls.
Yeah.
There
Having a
was
book on how to build a mannequin.
there was all it was all this stuff, right? And as I'm looking at it now, like if if they have a phone with internet access, which that's the whole purpose of it,
Yeah.
at least four or five of those things on that list we can no longer detect. So for people who think, oh, it's just a phone to call his mom, to call his girlfriend,
Yeah.
nah, man, like that is a legit escape paraphernalia. They don't have to ask for, hey, Mr. Casillas, how far is the border from here? Hey, is there any buses that head that direction towards it? They don't need to ask us none of that shit. Back in the day, they did because you had no internet access. Now they just Google it and they find everything. We can't if they're talking on a cell phone, we can't monitor that, right? So that's another thing. We'd monitor their phone calls or we monitor their tablets or whatever. But a contraband phone is to me like that should be escape paraphernalia. So that was my little piece of that. And that's also one of the places where I've seen a lot of the classic hiding spots to one of my favorites, the old hollowed out book, like the stuff you see in the movies.
Yeah.
Like they still do that. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty that's pretty cool that they still do that, right?
Yeah.
Got the little phone and you're like, hey, it's like like on TV.
Yeah. There was a
Um
trend. There was a trend where we were finding them on the dude. It was so simple. You know how a lot of them like to hang lines on the walls
mhm.
of their bunks, right by their bunks, and they'll have like a little towel, like those little fucking 12 by 12 towels, right? And they'll hang the little towel, and right behind that,
Mm,
a pocket with the phone. It's like shit like
very
that, bro.
simple.
Super simple phones. One of the most interesting things that I didn't find it personally, but some guy that was in our unit discovered it, or maybe it was an officer, but somehow it ended up, you know, it was it came to our attention. There was a Walkman that was turned into a phone,
Huh.
and that shit was crazy to me because I got the opportunity to go present it somewhere else at a conference and to speak on it to kind of like alert other institutions like, dude, this is what they're doing down here. And what was interesting is it was found by an officer, and the person that had it was some Asian dude uh, who had never who had never been out even when the phones like with that type of technology was out. If that makes any sense, like he had been locked up so long that he wouldn't even know how to do that, but he
Yeah.
figured it out. And what he did was he grabbed those little cheap phones, just like the little it was like I think it was a Motorola, that's or an LG, one of those little cheap phones. And what he did was he was able to get the mothership or the
The
motherboard, whatever it's
motherboard,
called. Ernie the
mothership,
Tick, I need you.
mothership. You're still thinking of your
Yeah,
planet Bravaria
still over there, fucking
in outer space.
yeah, yeah. So what he did, he grabbed the fucking little motherboard, inserted it to the Walkman, and was able to solder
Mm-hmm.
certain wires to the forward and back buttons,
Dang.
right? And all he did was program a couple numbers. I think it was like three or four numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They were already pre-programmed. So he would put his headphones on, call,
And it
and
looks like he's on his
yeah,
Walkman.
dude.
Huh.
And I believe he had an antenna attached to it. Maybe I'm tripping, but I think it did have an antenna. But I got the opportunity to get it, take pictures, take it. That to me was fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, bro? Um, I'm reading some of these comments right here. Hey, what's up, Chalo? And we got the Rebel. We got some OGs right here, fucking from all over the state, man. What's up, everybody? Rudy, shout out. Benny Cruz, shout out. I can't hear you. What else is new?
Who's that? Is it
Pinche,
the same guy from
sí, sí,
before?
sí, sí.
The guy that would always there's a hissing noise.
That's all right. Yeah, but I just want to give a, Shout out to all these guys. A lot of these guys are retired now. They know what's up. They got way more better stories than what we're
Their
telling you right now.
stories are more better.
Always more better. So dope, shanks, and phones. We try to keep it short and sweet. This is a hot mic heat, usually a shorter
Yeah.
version.
Well, we'll do a part two to this because I just remembered a really cool weapon story
Tell it now.
that I have. So
You're gonna forget.
no, I won't. It's one of my great claims to fame. All right, we'll give you the short version, but this
Mm,
is again, you know me, I'm gonna have my little soapbox moments where I have to teach, I have to harp on safety and security and all that stuff, right? So
yeah,
this story encompasses all that, right? Awareness, um, accountability, all that stuff, right? So this guy goes over to the yard, a maintenance guy goes over to the yard to work on something, and he's got all his tools on a cart, and he walks out with that cart,
yeah.
right? And something falls off of it
Okay.
without him realizing it. He takes it back, circumvents some policy to it's the end of the day. He circumvents some policy to return those
Mm,
tools to the shop where they're supposed to be, right?
yeah,
Because if he had gone through the proper procedures, what would have happened when he goes through work change?
they would have found something wrong with
The
it.
inventory of the tools,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The officer goes through, right?
Mm,
So, but he does he circumvents that
yeah,
because it's the end of the day. He goes, he wants to drop off the tools and bounce. Not only that, those aren't even his assigned tools. Fast forward next morning, the guy whose tools those are assigned to, he comes in, he looks at he does his inventory at the beginning of his shift like he should. He's missing an awl. I want you to Google right now. I want you to Google a Smith Klein awl. AWL. Should have a yellow handle, a yellow and black handle.
I it looks like a shank.
Yeah, for anybody listening, I want you guys to look at that. A Smith Klein awl.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a yellow and black handle.
Yeah, it looks exactly like a shank, like a little pickaxe. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So at first, when he's telling us, he's like, "I'm missing this. I'm missing this," and people are like, "Whatever," right? Like we made some phone calls, and they're like, "Okay," and it got back to me because the tools were on another yard. So it got back to us because they determined that the toolbox had last been there on that yard.
All right.
So they start telling me what it is, whatever, right? And we're getting ready to release for Chow, or we had already done Chow. We had already done Chow. We were getting ready to release Yard, and I Google this thing and see the picture. Did you find it yet?
Oh, I don't have to. I know what
Oh,
it is.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So I Google what this is, and I'm like, holy shit! This is an ice pick. Like this is
yeah.
like the worst possible tool to have lost. And so I run over to the lieutenant's office and I'm like, hey, dude, I printed out. I'm like, this is what they lost. His eyes are like, oh, shit. He's like, scan that. Let me send it to the warden's office. Um,
I'm trying to put on the
oh,
camera. Yeah, I can't though. Fucking sorry, camera. Ah, whatever.
so sends it to the warden's office and they're like, now everybody's taking this shit seriously, right? They see this thing and they're like, oh my gosh. So we start searching and talking and stuff. And we had a guy that was on the yard at the time
Mhm.
that we had a good line of communication. So again, teaching point, having an open line of communication with your inmates. I believe they call that dynamic security in the California model. Talking, having communication with these guys, and I tell them, look, man, if this thing doesn't come up, this whole we're gonna fucking tear this whole place apart, looking for it. So he leaves and comes back a couple times, says that it's in the they flush it down the toilet, right? So we put the snake. They don't find it. Um, again, the captain at the time calls everybody over, gets in their ass, you know, and then he leaves. They don't really care for that captain, so I go over there again, and I'm like, hey guys, like whatever he said, but like mutual respect kind of thing. This place is gonna get torn apart, right? And so um This is one of the few times where the whole mutual respect thing, it went a little bit above and beyond because this guy comes back and he breaks it down for me, right? He breaks it down for me. Look, it's in the toilet. It's there. And I'm like, dude, we looked already. And he goes, here's what happened. Yesterday, when that fool left the yard and that thing fell off the cart, one of the homies saw it. He saw something fall off of it. He went over there, him and his homie, they pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
They
I
see
think I
what
read that report. 'Cause
they
I didn't make.
yeah, they see what it is
Uh,
and they're like, "Holy shit, look at this fucking thing," right?
yeah.
So they put it in their pocket. Word spreads on the yard that this is happening, right? And people look at it. Now other shot callers are involved. Other races are involved. Yeah, everybody they have a little meeting over there by the toilets
Yeah.
and they're like showing it to each other like check this out. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's fucking hot." One guy said that's like having a gun. They said that's like having a gun on the yard.
It's a no go.
That's gonna kill somebody, right? And it will never we'll never hear the end of it. So they all agreed we're gonna get rid of it. So everybody went over to the toilets on the yard, flushed it
Yeah.
until
Took
it
turns.
until
Every
yeah
race,
yeah
every shot
every
caller.
race. I
And the Crips, let's go. And all the Bloods. And the 18th Streeters. And the San Diegans.
and they all freaking yeah they had a check off box.
Do we have anybody from the Whites? We got the Woodpile. Here we
Any
go.
Native Americans want to
Oh.
flush? So they flush it and they fucking leave, dude. So I'm like, okay, man, I'm taking your word for it. So we tell them to bring the bigger snake,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, they stick it down the drain, and and I remember watching on the little screen,
Yeah,
and as the snake is approaching, we see an object there, and lo and
there it
behold,
is.
I can see the very unique detail of the yellow handle and the black grip part on it, and I'm like, fuck, that's it, dude, that's it. So, yeah, that was pretty, and it was so far down,
Yeah.
there was nothing they could do about. It. They would have had to break the concrete to get in there to get that tool. So it's probably still sitting in there,
No, I think there's a
unless
trap.
unless some turd freaking pushed it along.
Mhm. I believe there's a trap like in the because usually we should check traps for fucking contraband in the where the water's at. They have like a little trap for all that shit. Anyways,
Oh yeah, at the but it was so heavy the water couldn't.
I couldn't push it.
No, it yeah it
But I could imagine the the thought process. Um, because I'm thinking right now, like, dude, if I was there that day, like, dude, how lazy can you be as an inmate and not make your own weapon and just get this? You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on, man, you can make your own fucking weapon. Please, please, let me have that back. Please, can we please have that back? How am I gonna line? Like and subscribe. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. This is dope, Shanks, and phones.
and phones.
Um, just I just want to throw it out there real quick before people forget. Uh, we could go on and on and on and on, but I do have a similar story. It's super short and sweet. A screwdriver went missing one day on the yard, and same thing. You bring in those trustees, right? Hey, this is what's going on. This is what's gonna happen. It's gonna fuck up your program. It's gonna fuck up our program. We're gonna have to lock you guys up. Uh, do all the searches. You're gonna lose this. You're gonna lose that. Aside from time, aside from visiting, aside from yard, aside from programming, you're gonna lose whatever's in there right now. Blah 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 blah. Where is it? Hey, it's in the drain of the yard. And yep, it was there. They had to pull it out. They were able to get it. They were able to get this one.
Mm,
And same thing, like they didn't want to deal with it. They grabbed it, like throw that away, dumped it down the drain. But
nice.
and sometimes they can be pleasant about certain things, right?
So when I tell that story, a lot of people are, there's always people who are negative. Well, yeah, they didn't want to be locked down. Of course they're gonna say,
Yeah.
but you know what? I think, yeah, of course.
Who
Did
wants to
I
be
want
locked?
to be locked down?
Fuck no.
Right? Did I want to fucking self-feed for
Yeah.
2 weeks while we searched every building there?
Like
No.
like you guys doing now?
You
Fuck.
know, like nah, like so every it was mutually beneficial to
Yeah.
everybody. Plus we got a deadly weapon off the yard, or at least knew where it was. We
Yeah.
found out where it was. So yeah, whatever, man. Fucking haters.
Um, to end it with the whole lockdown and searching, shout out to all the staff members who are holding it down right now. I know it sucks, it's stressful. Some of you guys have to work overtime involuntarily to do, some of this work. And I don't want to say to take it to look at it as in a positive because it sounds kind of gay, but you sometimes do have to look at it in a positive. When you do find a phone, when you do find a shank, when you do find dope, that's just like something less that could happen to another officer. Think about, people who are out right now because of somebody that was under the influence. Think about, you know, somebody who was exposed to trauma because of a hit that was conducted called through a phone. Think about those weapons that were found, excuse me, that were used during an incident, and now we had to go out there and do all the paperwork, do the legwork, and do all kinds of other shit just to, uh, you know, to quell this incident or whatnot. That's something that we're preventing. So keep, uh, hold your heads high. This is a respectable job. Uh, we respect you guys. You guys are doing what you can. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what the media says. I don't care how what sucks is how we get treated, right? Um, how's that song? Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's a hard knock life. But kudos to all you guys holding it down, man. Like fucking keep grinding, keep pushing, keep holding that line.
Absolutely. It's freaking hot out there right now.
Yeah, man.
It's
I couldn't
uncomfortable.
imagine.
It's uncomfortable. So yeah, big props to everybody.
Yeah, and hopefully in the future, I do want to touch on the last episode that we had. It's mostly on YouTube. I haven't uploaded to the podcast. I don't know if I'm going to because we had a very good response on our YouTube channel. We did talk about certain things to include about we touched on certain issues with the certain situations that we had and issues that we had with the in regards to their unions. And somebody from the union reached out and wanted to come on the show. I want you guys to know that this is an open platform. I'm not going to say no to any to that type of you know uh, suggestion because I feel like, hey, yeah, come over here, speak your mind, and let's touch on certain things, especially this new contract. There's a lot of questions right now about the new contract. Maybe that person can bring a little bit more light as far as what's going on and why we're not going to see raises until 3 years from now. But
When I'm retired,
when you're retired, bro, oh, maybe you shouldn't retire so you could get that
I
raise.
am not gonna be that guy. I
Yeah,
refuse. I mean, I say
yeah,
that now, but I absolutely refuse.
yeah.
Not
So,
one day, not one day more than I have to.
all right, buddy, we've been on for quite a bit.
We went over on time a little bit.
Did we?
I don't know. You said an hour. You had some place to be.
Uh, yeah. This is better.
Huh? Bow, bow, bow.
Karaoke tonight or what?
All right.
I'm like, oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment. I know we're kind of all over the place, but the heat shows are usually like that.
Yeah.
Uh, one of the shows that we're gonna have coming up soon is gonna be with our returning co-host Sergio Cardenas, our air medic, who's gonna speak of his journey about his new uh, mental health journey.
Yeah.
That's how I should put it. His new mental health journey. So it's gonna be very interesting. I know that a lot of us can benefit from that episode. So I'm very anxious and excited to have him on.
Cool.
Maybe
I'm ready to get him on too. I'm ready to get some other guests on too.
maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see.
He's off tomorrow.
Is he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
let's do it. All
We'll
right.
see. It's 3 days in a row. That would be 3 days in a row of you. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a max count. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Shout out to
everybody.
everybody, all the retirees. Stay up, man. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves out there.
Peace.
Later.